Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I put together an ocean-themed unit study for my kids. This is something I get asked a decent amount here on YouTube and definitely over on Instagram about how I put together unit studies, how I put together invitations to learn or invitations to play, or any type of learning or activity spreads that I set out for my kids in general, but then specifically because I have such a wide range of learners, with my youngest being 2 and then my oldest being 14 and there being 5 of them. So I have a kid at pretty much like every stage, almost every stage in the learning process, and I'm going to show you how I include all of them and how I pull together resources to do a unit study on any particular topic. So specifically, I'm doing an ocean-themed learning study. However, this same way of pulling resources together and laying them out and organizing them can apply to almost any different topic that you choose to teach your kids. Something that I'll also be trying to show you as I'm doing that is how I organize a lot of my printables and my learning resources, because that is something that I get asked a ton from you guys. Where do I keep things? How do I organize? Where do I make space for all of these different things? So I'll try to show you that as I go and as I pull things out, where I keep them and how I organize them. I have everything laid out, but I'm going to rewind just a little bit and show you how I select everything, and then I'll show you how I have everything set up on the table. However, you don't need to have the exact same resources that I used either, but maybe can pull from some of the ideas in how I engage my different aged kids in the same or shared learning experience. So let me show you how I pull and select resources, and then I'll show you how I have it all set up. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna start prepping is my printables, and then I'll show you the things that I'm going to pull. So all of these came as part of the Harbor and Sprout Discover bundle. So this is why I really love bundles, because this came with so many resources, but then also tons of ocean resources. So there's this whales poster, which all I needed to do to prep these was to print them, and I did them on cardstock. These right here, I did double-sided, except for this one. I think this was the last one, but all the rest of these are double-sided, just different anatomies of different ocean creatures. So I will put these out, and I'll have my kids do some notebooking. Either we'll do 1 or 2 a day, or I'll put a bunch out and let them choose a couple that they will draw and label and put in their notebooking notebooks. So I have all of those. This is really cool. This is for them to label the different parts of the ocean. And so I'll have these cut out for them, and then they can label. This is a really cool activity for my 3-year-old. So there's all these different colored mats, which I'm about to cut out. I have my little paper cutter right here. It makes my life so much easier. I got that one at Target, I think for like 10 bucks. And so what they do with these is, I'm also gonna cut these out. They're all different colored seashells, and I'll have the mats out, and they'll do it like a sorting activity. So they'll put the different colored seashells on the corresponding color mats. This is another matching activity. These will be cut and they just match up the different creatures. So really, really cool for my younger ones. I'm thinking my 2- and 3-year-old will love this. I'm sure my 6-year-old will even have fun playing with this. So I'm gonna prep these first. So the only other things that I need to cut in terms of prepping, I just printed out from the Into the Ocean unit from Thistles and Biscuits. It's a brand new unit. It is not part of a bundle, so it is always available, and I'll link it down below. There are tons of things in here. There are ocean letter flashcards. There is so much, like hundreds of pages of resources. I only selected a few to use for right now, but it is an entire early learning pack. There is writing, math, literacy, letters, numbers, poetry, all of it. So what I did is just pulled out this ocean layers poster, and then this, which is one that you cut out and have them pieced together. And so I know I already have the Ocean Layers one from the Discover bundle, but I really like for them to be able to engage with the same information in multiple ways, and then different kids can do different ones at different times or whatever one they're interested in. And then I just printed the count and clip cards again for my 3-year-old. I like to have these hands-on printables for my younger ones so that when we are all doing school together and my kids are doing like a longer reading or they're doing some writing, the little ones have some things to manipulate. And then this, even my older kids obviously can try to do some learning, and they can dig in deeper and write about these, and there are just countless ways to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and then I'm going to show you what I'm using from my knowledge crate. I'll show you a couple of books that I'm using, and yeah. Okay, so I have all of my printables prepared that I needed to prepare. I am going to pull out a few things that we used last year that I had prepped already and saved. So I'll share those with you when I set up the whole table, but I wanted to share with you what I'm pulling from the Knowledge Crate boxes, the summer boxes. I have both the preschool crate and the school age crate, and I'll show you all of the stuff that's in there. Yesterday with my 3-year-old, we prepped the water beads from both of the kits. So I had double since I get both boxes. And so this is what it looks like with both of them. And then some of these fish and sea creatures are from this box, which I'll show you which ones, because again, I have double. I'll show you the ones that come in the summer box. Some of them were from actually last summer's box from them, and then there were a few that I think I got on Amazon at some point. So that is prepped and ready to go for them to be able to play with when we're doing lessons or just whenever they want to. And then I'll show you what I'll pull out from the preschool crate. It's a little messy because I already pulled it out, but I'll just kind of do a quick overview of some of the things. Like, you have the activity guide whenever you get a knowledge crate, which has the instructions for all of the activities included. There are always books. So what I was really excited about is that there are ocean themed books or ocean related books in here that I will pull out for our unit study that I didn't plan on having, which is really great. So I'll put that one out, and then these I'll probably put away for now, but really great books. This one is new to us, so I'm excited to see that one. We're familiar with If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. This one looks really interesting. I always kind of look through these to just make sure that it's always stuff that will like align with our values and things, but I really haven't had any issues with anything from Knowledge Crate. And then here's BU, which is also new to us. There are tons of things, so I'm not going to do a full unboxing, but a couple of things that I do want to point out that are in here is one of the activities is to make colored rice with your kids. So we haven't done that before, even though it's super simple. They give you the paint and the instructions to do it. So we will do that when this bin is done, instead of having multiple sensory bins out, which I've done and sometimes like to do, but I really don't want these to end up mixed. And so when this is done, this is an activity we'll do next. And then that's supposed to serve as like the ocean for the creatures. So it'll be kind of fun to mix it up when the time comes. Something I was super excited about that I saw is that they have these fact cards for all of the figurines from here that come in this crate. And so I'll just show you if I can get it open using my teeth, super professional. But there are a bunch of them. I won't show them all to you. I am going to set them out, but all of these different fact cards for the ones that come in this bundle. So I'll pull these out. That's going to go back in. And I forget which one of these I pulled the figurines out from, but there's also the Play-Doh accessories. So yeah, as you can see, the Play-Doh accessories, because my son played with the Play-Doh and the Play-Doh accessories yesterday, have made their way in here, but that's great. That's what I like about the stuff too, is they give you guidance, but you can also mix and match. So as you can see, there are tons of these different little ocean themed activities, which I won't necessarily pull out for like the main spread for the first day, but they're things I'll pull out little by little throughout the week and even throughout the summer if we don't get to them this week. Here we go. So these are the ones that come in this crate. And then again, there are fact cards for each one of them. So it'll be really cool for them to be able to match them up and then read some facts. And then for my older kids, I might even have them write about them a little bit. So it really can be used with multiple ages, even though technically it'll be like preschool or school age stuff. So as you can see, tons of summer themed and ocean themed activities. I'm kind of making a mess of this, but I'll also show you really quickly that some of the activities in the school age crate and preschool crate are the same, and then some are different. So you sometimes might get some of the books that are the same, but as you can see, the activity guide is a little bit different because there are different activities. So you have Summer Vacation from the Black Lagoon. This one I'm really excited about, coral reefs. So this is one that I'll also pull for our unit study. This is a double, but I'm okay with that because I have 5 kids. What if more than one kid wants to look at the same book? It's just a score for us. I can also see my older boys being really interested in the deadliest ocean creature, so that will come out with us. And then these just look super fun, so I'm excited to put this in the stack of books that we'll put aside for now. But lots of different activities in here, you guys, some of which, like I said, we will get to on a later date, but measuring ocean animals, that looks pretty cool. There's also a ton of stuff underneath, like a lot of the, like the dry erase things and paper that you need for some of the activities and canvases and things like that. So I will link Knowledge Crate down below for you guys because I always have a 15% off code for these boxes. So I'll link that down below for you. I'll show you a few more things that I did pull and where I pulled them from, because I do get a lot of questions about like, how do I organize my homeschool stuff and how do I put together unit studies? So I'm trying to give you, or like invitations to learn. So I'm trying to give you kind of a little bit of all of that in this video. So I pulled out Nat Geo Kids, this special ocean issue. This was from last year, and I'll show you where I keep these. I don't know. Sometimes they question the fact that I keep all of these, but it is really good to have if I want to pull something to kind of pull in a magazine style to go along with the other things that I have out. So this will be for my younger kids, but even my older kids can read facts in here and learn from here, and it's kind of like more bite-sized for them. For more in-depth reading for them, which I do think is really important, I have the regular National Geographic, and this is Secrets of the Whales, and this was from last May. So this is a year old, and I'll show you where I keep these because I don't keep both of these in the same place, and I can kind of tell you why in a second, but there is tons of information for my older kids to do like more in-depth reading and learning in here. And then this I finally broke down and bought. It's really not expensive, but all of the anatomy books by Julia Rothman are just stunning. And what I typically do with this is I'll just let them explore with it, but also if we're focusing on things in a specific day, I'll kind of keep this open with my book stand, and I'll show you. Usually I'll put it like right here in the back of everything and have it open to a particular page that we want to focus on that day. But the first day when I put everything out, I really just let them explore whatever interests them. And then specific days, I'll either let them choose, like, what are we going to focus on today? Or I'll decide, like, okay, we're going to learn about, ocean depth zones. And then obviously I have those hands-on activities that go with that. So that will be really great. Or if we are focusing on, like, I know there are seashells in here. So if we're gonna learn about, can't find it right now, but if we're gonna learn about shells, for instance, I would have out, that activity for my younger kids, and then my older kids would learn about shells. Or if we're gonna have a focus on coral reefs, I'll also pull out that page from here. And then I pulled out the big sticker Book of the Blue for my 6-year-old. This is hers. I got this for her last year, and she just kind of did, I think maybe, just a couple activities. And so she'll do some stuff in here. It's fun and you're learning from that. And then also I did order the regular big Book of the Blue from the library. I need to go pick it up tomorrow. And then these were from last year when we studied the ocean stuff. And these are a free printable from Homeschool Compass. I love them. I've mentioned them before, but I haven't mentioned them in a while. We have like the different creatures that go in the different zones. So that's really cool. So they don't just learn about the zones, but again, like here's another representation of the zones in another format. We have the map of the oceans, ocean vocabulary. And then this is really cool because I chose to cut out I printed this twice and then I cut out some, and then I have them actually go through and see if they can figure out where these go. For my younger kids, I would just keep this out and let them just like look and match up where it goes. For my older kids, I would give them more of a challenge to see if they could figure it out without kind of the key. And then these are laminated so that they can, again, like take the same challenge of labeling the oceans, or for my younger kids, having this as a guide and then just labeling. So I have a couple of those, so more than one kid can do them. And then these are laminated as well, anatomy of a dolphin. There are a few different anatomy ones in here. These are all different maps, so that even my younger ones can just play, because obviously my 2 and 3-year-old can't label anatomy of a fish. And so lots of ocean learning there as well. So I'll show you where I keep these and where I keep all of this, because they're in different places. So these Nat Geos I keep mostly on my homeschool cart, which is a mess right now, so don't judge it. But I keep them in here because when my boys can do like independent reading time, or I'm having them doing notebooking, I might say like grab a Nat Geo, read it, and then do like a visual and written representation of what you learned. So it's more like student led. And then any of these like highlights or Nat Geo Kids or Ranger Rick Jr., anything like that, I'll show you where I keep those. But when they're new, I usually will put them on here. Again, this needs to be organized. The newer ones I'll put on here, and then when it's time to like cycle new ones in, I'll put the older ones in the playroom. I'll show you where they go. And then that's also where these go. So real life playroom is a mess right now. Like, I did not clean this for the video. We have a dirty sock, like real life happening around here. So lots to figure out. But here is the closet where I keep most of our homeschool stuff and games and things like that. It's fairly well organized right now, but I also keep my mop and vacuum in here because we don't have a ton of storage in our home. We have a kind of a smaller home. So this is not a perfect system, and it's still something I'm working on. Like, I want to do a filing box or something like that eventually. And I do rotate out some of these. Like, after we use the ocean one, it will not stay in here all year. I'll put it in a bin in the basement until we're getting back towards the season. But I just pulled it recently and kept it in here for when we were ready. And so I use these Ziploc baggies because if there are like little cards that go along with things, I like it all to be in the same spot. Like, this was ants. This will go back downstairs. That was for Ant Week and Exploring Nature with Children. So anyways, that's where those little printable studies go for now. Again, not a perfect system, but I get asked that all the time. So there it is. And then down here in this bin is where I keep lots of stuff. Like, there is some extra paper and mostly like the high fives, the highlights, activity books and things like that are in here. But this is where I'll keep them. Like, here's another one. This one's about giraffes. But I try to keep them in here so that if I am covering something that I want to pull something for the younger kids, I have things in here to pull from. Another thing that I like to do is always tie in the Bible and or scripture. And so I have these little storybooks, Bible storybooks in here. And so I'll pull out Jonah and the whale and we'll read this. I've had these forever since my oldest, who's 14, was little. So I don't even know if you can still get these, but. Okay, last thing I almost forgot to share is our Land of Storybooks box, which is the school Ship Tobermory one. So I often like to have some kind of chapter book read aloud that I'm reading with the kids. And this one fits perfectly with our ocean themed unit study. So we will be doing this. And if you're unfamiliar, it always comes with crafts and an activity guide. However, this portion of the Land of Storybooks, the subscription box that comes to you in its physical form, is ending this month. So if you still want to try out the Land of Storybooks, if you want to do something special, if you want to do it as a gift for someone, I will put the link down below along with my discount code that will get you $10 off. The last boxes are School Ship Tobermory and Ocean and Sky, which is their picture book read aloud box. We'll do the related activities again either throughout this week or into the summer as we read or as we finish it up. And there are recipes and all kinds of things. The Land of Storybooks is switching to a digital format, so you'll still be able to get book guides through them, but it will come in a digital format. Okay, one more thing I'll show you that I will do for sensory throughout this week is Kinetic Sand. So I have these 2 bins of Kinetic Sand. That way 2 kids can kind of play on their own instead of all being hovering over one bin, even though we do it that way sometimes. These need to be mixed up a little bit better, but this is basically just like playing in the sand, making sand castles, that kind of thing. So this will be another sensory activity that maybe on the same day I would have this and this out together. But I really don't want them to mix them because then they're kind of ruined. And so I'll probably do them at different times or on different days. But this is another ocean type themed thing that I will have for sensory. So I have everything set up that I could fit on the table. Typically I have a little bit more space, but my 10-year-old here, Jackson, is having fun with the kinetic sand. So I will sort of show you that there is some rhyme or reason for the way that I set things up, but it doesn't follow this like super technically. So typically on this side of the table, I do like the older kids or things that are geared more toward the older kids. There's not a lot here right now. However, I did put these cards from the Knowledge Crate, and these can be used with a wide range of kids, sorry for the airplane, because they can find the specific shark or whatever that they're looking for and put it on there, and then they can read the facts. The older kids can read aloud the facts to the younger ones, and there's many different ways to use those. I put all of the books around that we'll be using for this unit study. On the first day I like to do that so that they can sort of select and get a sneak peek at some of what we'll be learning. And so I just selected a few posters to have out for them to explore as well. I didn't put them all out on the table. Sometimes I'll have less books and more printables, but this time I wanted to kind of show them all of the books and things and magazines that are available to them. These are something I forgot to tell you about. These I got off of Amazon last summer, and some of these also came from Amazon as well. I can't remember, but I know that they match up with the cards that are in here. So we may be missing some. I didn't really check. Typically for my 3-year-old, because he gets frustrated when things don't match up, I would check. So I'll take a look at that later, or may just tell him they're not all there. We'll see how that goes though. I have over here some more of the printables for them to explore the different zones. These are just some count and clip cards for my 3-year-old. And then this is another version of how to engage with the different zones like I mentioned before. This one's a little bit more simplistic. This uses the more technical terms. I only put a couple of these matching animals out because the first couple of times for the younger ones, I like them to just not get overwhelmed, and then I can add in more as I go. This activity I set up with an example of what you do. So I tried to put one of each color on each of the little cards, and then I put the rest of them in this little basket just to save space. So I did not have room for everything, obviously, because this will be for the first day, and then I'll pull just a couple things each day of the week to focus on. So for example, there's way more of these and these posters. There are more count and clip cards. I didn't put out any of these activities from Homeschool Compass because we did do these last year. So I'll pull from these throughout the week, but they're not like the main focus. These were more things from the Knowledge Crate that were in the bottom of the boxes that I didn't get a chance to show you. So I'll need to pull out some dice for this. This is roll and cover. This is really fun for like simple math. There are 2 different versions of the Coral I Spy. The school age one has more of them, and then also coral reef facts. So that'll be cool the day that we focus on coral reefs. Then this is just kind of like a younger version with less of them to count, and this comes from the preschool one. I was able to get a lot of stuff out on the table. Like I said, if he wasn't doing Kinetic Sand, which I love that he's doing that on his own, if he wasn't, I would probably have some more things there. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it answered some of the questions that you have about how to build your own unit study, how to engage multiple aged kids in the same theme or topic, how to organize some of your resources, where to find some of these resources. If you have any questions, definitely let me know down in the comments below. If you are new here, introduce yourself. I love to get to know you guys. Remember that you can find all of the links in the description box. If you are not already subscribed, I would love if you would stick around, click that red subscribe button, hit the notifications bell so that you know when I have a new video coming out. My very next video will be all about summer reading, so I'm really excited to share with you what we will be doing this summer for summer reading. I hope to see you guys soon in one of my next videos, and until next time, stay rooted.